Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Josh and Jason Monday Christian Conspiracy Podcast. I'm your host, Josh Monday. If you don't know me, I'm a Christian rapper, devoted husband, father, and Army veteran. And today we have Scott Testa on today, and he's actually going to be going over some very interesting information. Usually we don't have, this is kind of like a conspiracy slash crime type of episode, which I don't usually have, but I'm really into this type of information, and I think it's, great to bring out some stuff that is that needs to be brought out. So I'm glad to have you on, Scott. How's everything going?
Great, Josh. How are you?
Amazing. Like we said earlier, I'm doing great and kind of ready for this info. I kind of waited a couple months for this one. So I'm glad to have you on. And if you want to, wherever you want to start, I'm definitely open to where you want to go with this.
Sure. I lead an advocacy group based outside of Philadelphia, northeast of the city. And we've had a situation where based out of Whitpain Township. It was a township right outside of Philadelphia. And there's been some disturbing incidents over the last 20, 30 years. And it's a typical example of local government gone bad. And we're trying to expose this. And we started doing this about, I would say, 9 months ago. Slowly but surely, we're weeding our way through the politicians that are responsible for this. One recently is no longer with the township supervisors, and uh, we're making inroads. So I'm just here to talk about our situation. Maybe I think when a lot of, especially now, a lot of people talk about corruption and wrongdoing by government, they think of the federal government. And this, I think it's safe for us to say most of a lot of corruption happens on the local side. And just explain our situation and maybe give some insight for other people that are having some of the same issues.
Yeah, and I think on a local level, a lot of the city council have it's an easy way for people to bribe, and even on a minimal sense, not so much in the one that you're talking about, but even real estate and companies coming in, builders, there's definitely a lot of corruption in that, trying to get things passed and money being passed here and there. And in LA, we had the Rampart Division, so there was some corruption there with the police, and so I live in Southern California, so that's the kind of stuff I get to see. And other people would see different things in their city, things happening. But at a local level, even my normal you know I used to live in Aspiria, California, which even on that level there was things being done, because I used to campaign for the mayor there back in the day when I was 18, not knowing anything about government, obviously just kind of helping out. And I just got to kind of see a few things where I was like, wow, this is, I don't know, it was even like this, so I can understand, even though the stuff that you're about to go over is a lot deeper than what I've probably experienced.
Yeah, and we're not some of these hate the government, total libertarian, defund the police. It's we're not about that. We're about this is a specific situation in a specific township with specific people, some that have been with the township for almost 40 years,
Yeah.
who lock in and do things that they shouldn't do, and then now they're being exposed, and it's in some ways it's tragic, in other ways, quite frankly, it's fun. It's the system seems to be working, and uh, we're, I guess, slowly but surely draining this small swamp.
Yeah. So we have Ephesians 5:11. I go over that sometimes. It says, and have no fruit, no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather expose them. So that's what I think you're going to be exposing some people today. So go ahead and start with the story and everything that you want to go over, and we're open to it.
Yeah, so just give you some background on Whitpain Township. Montgomery County is by population uh, the richest county in the state of Pennsylvania. And Whitpain Township would be considered an affluent area. I think the average house in the township is close to $600,000.
Okay.
Uh, I've been in the area my whole life. I've been in the township since '93, and in some ways, I've seen a lot of changes. In other ways, not much has changed. And we had a situation where our house got broken into. Without getting too deep into it, we know who the two people were. We had a business relationship with one of them. We had videos, we had threats, and we took it to the township. And then it was elevated to the Montgomery County District Attorney's Office. Two people in the District Attorney's Office said, "This is very strange. We'll look into it." And then they went dark. And then we decided to pursue them with a federal lawsuit, which is pending. And as we were going through this process, we have some of these volunteers that decided to get involved. And it's interesting when you go through the process, a lot of times this you think it's only you. You think this code inspector's giving me a hard time because I didn't get a permit for my fence, or I got pulled over and for whatever reason I felt like I was targeted, and or yeah, certain things. You get called about your grass being too long, and your neighbor two down from you has grass twice as high as yours.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you think it could be anything, and I'm not focusing on those types of individuals. And sometimes you pull back the onion and you start to see some things that are, quite frankly, disturbing. So we put up this website with just our information and the video of actually the break-in. And it's relatively graphic. You see these two people with masks on kicking in the door of my house.
Wow.
And
You guys were inside?
we were not.
Oh, thank
We
God.
saw that via the cameras.
Wow.
And when we when we started to peel back the onion and look at the government, there's been a pattern. There's been a pattern over at least 20, 30 years of intimidation, of uh, 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 ignoring crimes about of certain groups,
Mm.
of targeting certain groups. And these are just people. This was not much digging. These are people coming to us.
Yeah.
So we started chronicling it, and we put it on this. I didn't put it on. We have volunteers that did it. Put it on this website, crookedwhitpain.com. And now we're up to approximately 12,000 visitors a day. And it's taken off. We've already started to uh, the chairman of the board of supervisors was a trustee at a prestigious private school in our area. He's been removed, not only removed, but deleted off the website like he never existed. And we
Wow.
have proof of that. We have before and after. And
Can
uh,
can you define like township for us? Is that talking about like city council, or is that talking about like HOA, or what does township mean?
yeah, yeah. It's a township, and I'm not a political science professor. I can, but uh, we have in our area, we have boroughs, we have cities, and we have townships.
Okay.
And I believe a borough can have a mayor, and like I said, I don't want to. I want to be careful.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, a borough or a city or a town can have a mayor and a council,
Okay.
and
That's what I'm used to. I'm used to like a mayor and stuff. So I wanted to see what a township would
yeah,
be. So.
yeah. There's actually I don't believe in a township there are mayors. There are supervisors, and then there's the chairperson of the supervisors. And
Okay.
in our township, there's five of them, and
Okay.
we successfully have pushed out one of them, and we're in the process of you know bringing a lot of these issues to light. So
Yeah, I just wanted to see because I'm in California. I'm not familiar with that, but I'm sure probably back east more people are more familiar with that term. So I just wanted to see.
yeah, it's like a borough council or anything else. It's just a leadership structure where
Yeah.
five people are elected, although they're not really elected. They generally run unopposed in our area because well, in this
Hmm.
situation, it doesn't seem like they have much power, or with the power they have. Uh, a lot of these organizations, what people don't realize is you can have a mayor and you can have a supervisory structure, but there's things called the organizational structure, and then there's the shadow organization. And I think you'll find in most of these organizations, there's a shadow organization where people that you think have power and can make decisions generally don't. And people that you wouldn't believe have power have the most. And it's generally the people that have survived a lot of regimes. So
Yeah.
J. Edgar Hoover and the FBI, was there for decades and had seen, a number of presidents. And on the organization chart, the leader of the FBI is not that high, but he held a lot of power. And I think this is a very, very similar situation.
I see. Well, that's the kind of stuff we're interested in conspiracy wise. And wasn't there a story that you kind of wanted to bring up about the gentleman they said committed suicide or something, but he actually didn't?
Yeah. So when we put up this website, it was just generally, I didn't have much faith in it. I wasn't involved with it. And we started to get these anonymous tips. And you have to understand this is a township of 20,000 people. You're not talking about a big place, but you are talking about a place with a significant amount of money.
Yeah.
And out of the blue, someone had messaged someone and it eventually got to me. Why aren't you talking about this Donte Perez Jones? Now you have to understand, I've been here a long time. I had children in the school system. I wouldn't consider myself very plugged in. I certainly never cared about local politics until this happened to us. And we started to drill down, and there was a U.S. Army veteran that was found in a park that's directly next to the police station, hanging. And that was the story. They had committed suicide. And then as you dig down, there's people that are saying he wasn't hanging, he was actually leaning against a pole.
Hmm.
And then these stories came out, and then social media. And again, I don't believe, I try to filter out everything I read because there are conspiracy theories, there are things. And then you start rolling back immediately. This is in a public park that's physically right next to the uh, police station. And if you had the satellite image, it literally is right next to it. There were just so many inconsistencies with this story that he committed suicide. And this is just one case. Is there's over 100 cameras in that park and around that police station. The police went on the record and said we have no footage.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
Uh, Within an hour of finding the body hanging, uh, reports came out that he was not hanging; he was actually leaning against something with uh, a rain poncho around his neck, and his feet were actually flat on the ground. They were not
Hanging.
elevated.
Yeah.
Uh, and you go through a number of these scenarios. Uh, Immediately, they said it was a suicide, and they opened up the crime scene within an hour of finding the body. Now this is a play area that's physically next to the police station, and uh, I'd have to think if this was a white person and it wasn't a suburban park, they probably wouldn't open the crime scene up immediately. And then they refused to do the autopsy until people started to complain. And uh, the autopsy report has never been released.
Mm.
The police investigation has never been released. A lot of these townships and police departments and investigations, they don't release any information because they say it's under investigation when they're really not. They just never release it. Uh, and that's very odd. And I could go through five other strange occurrences. Uh, it's just too
Yeah.
strange.
So it says that he's leaning against a piece of playground equipment, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Which is kind of weird, you know. Doesn't I mean, yeah, that's strange that he would even someone would even choose to if he did commit suicide that way. He's a veteran too, so this is why it's kind of important for me guys when I saw this um besides all the other corruption I like to expose. But
Sure.
you know, he's a veteran, I'm a veteran as well, you know. So when I saw that and he's got children as well, you know.
Yeah, and again, it is very possible he committed suicide. It's just very strange that they initially refused an autopsy. And
Yep.
I've had people saying, if this was in my township, I work at the coroner's office, that would never happen. If someone in their 30s was found dead, they would automatically do an autopsy. They
Of
would
course.
never open the crime scene immediately. They would cordon it off. Uh, and it would have been very easy. It's in a corner of the park. It's not like it's in the center.
Yeah.
And even if they had to shut down the park, who cares?
They shut it
Uh,
down for shootings all the time. I mean,
yeah,
in my neighborhood, if a shooting
yeah,
happens, the whole park is shut down.
yeah.
No problem.
And my gut is if this was a white person, that wouldn't have happened.
Ah,
And there was no wallet. There was no explanation of where the person's car was. The township is not central. It's centrally isolated. It's not close to really any highways. The closest highway is 10, 15 minutes away. It's not a place you drive through. It's just not, I don't know how to say it. It's not very convenient to a lot of places. And he was from an hour away and had no connections to that township that anyone knew. There's no suicide note. They never found the wallet. There was no explanation of where his car was parked and what was in there. I mean, I could go on,
yeah.
and it's a very strange. It's odd, and I just it's it by itself it's very odd. Put together with a lot of the other information, the history in this township, it's not odd at all. It actually fits a pattern. It's systemic.
Um,
And go ahead.
do you think there's any okay, so first off, do you think there's any like mafia connection to these to the leaders? Because I know the mafia was kind of big in back in the day. I don't know about now in Pennsylvania, but do you think it's maybe something like that? Do you think the police maybe would do something like this to this gentleman? Um, or who do you think would be responsible for doing that to this gentleman?
Uh, I want to be careful how I said. I think most local governments are the mafia.
Yeah.
I think you have people in power. I was just reading a, documentary, story about legalized gambling
Yeah.
and online gambling. And this lobbyist said, we've determined that lobbying at the federal level is very, very difficult. There's just too many. It's like herding cats. But if we go to the local and the state level, it is much, much easier because there's less players and there's more manipulation. And I believe the lower you go, the easier it is to have a concerted effort to be corrupt. And anyone that's ever been truly involved with these organizations uh, would probably say there is an opportunity for that. And there are very good public officials. I mean, they're very, uh, my partner is a federal employee, so they're very. But I think this is a situation. It's very clear that there is something amiss here. And this is a very common problem. I mean, everything from code inspectors harassing people to it, police targeting people to pull over to zoning, selective zoning. There's a situation
Uh-huh.
where a lawyer went on the record and said what Whitpain Township is doing in another case is illegal.
Yeah.
And she had a client that I think was trying to build a car wash. Everything was approved. Everything, they met all the standards and they denied it. And, now this particular township is being exposed and it's good to see. And
With that business partner that you were dealing with, was that business partner, did he have any connections with the township, the one that you said like broke into your house, or was there what connection did they have where they would be able to kind of pull the wool over their eyes and make it so they don't investigate?
I don't know. It was kind of convoluted. The two people that broke in the house, one was charged with pretty equivalent to like a speeding ticket,
Wow.
and the other one
Like
was
kind of like a trespassing thing instead of a breaking in, right? Kind of
not
like a
even that. Wasn't
wow,
even
not
that.
even that?
Yeah. So, and the other one was, which is interesting. This is someone that was in medical school at the time, is now a doctor. The
That
person that
broke
was
into your
not.
house.
Mhm.
Wow.
And it's
Did they steal anything?
they
Or did
did. They
they
did
did?
about $10,000 worth of damage and stole approximately $20,000 worth of jewelry.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And we're
That's your local government at work, by the way.
yeah. Do you
That's what we
think
pay our taxes for.
what if you would have been in the house? Would those people you think would have tried to? Do you think they were coming after you or just coming after the jewelry?
I don't know, but they wouldn't have walked out.
Of course, yeah. I know. They would have
So
walked out of my house either.
now
Believe me.
they
Yeah,
probably wouldn't have crawled out either.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. I know.
yeah. So
And being in Pennsylvania and in California, and even if you would have done that, see, those people would have came in your house, they would have probably tried to charge you with something for doing that to
they
them,
absolutely, without a doubt, unequivocally, they would have tried.
which is
With, with,
insane,
with,
right?
with, without a doubt. I mean, this is a thoroughly corrupt organization.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and they're being exposed, which is nice. And,
California wants us to climb out the window if somebody breaks into our house instead of defending ourselves, and
well,
that's insane.
I was always told if, uh, this is a lawyer that I've done business with, is don't do anything outside the house.
Yep.
That whatever's in your domain. And honestly, I don't I don't trust any of these organizations. But the general thought is if the person is found in your house, uh, you're pretty covered. But who knows? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's the
yeah.
thing.
And there's been situations where there's been proof that bodies have been pulled back in the house just to
Just to
portray
cover it.
that. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, which then puts you in a really odd predicament if that
yeah,
happens. Yeah.
yeah.
Then it's yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's really interesting, man. And just to there's been a few big ones that went on Netflix where this I can't remember the guy's name. It's been a while, but yeah, that where the local police were kind of after this guy, and they ended up arresting him for this murder. It was
Yeah.
kind of it was a big one. I can't remember what it was called. Steve something. It was on Netflix, but
Right.
it
Yeah, and
was,
then there was a second part too.
yep,
And again, I want to be very clear here. The vast majority of public officials are very good people. The vast majority of the police are very good people. The vast majority of people are good people.
Yeah, I know a lot of them from the military, that are
Yeah,
sheriffs. They were
yeah,
like my captain.
yeah.
Or he was, yeah, he was our captain when I was deployed. And he was a Marine. I mean, I know a lot of people and I know people right now that are in the police because I work with them all the time in the water industry because they come to our fire hydrants and all the stuff that gets hit. And I know a
Sure.
lot of people that are good people as well. Yeah, and uh, good, power obviously brings corruption. So that's what happens, I think, is yeah, it's very hard to uh to shed themselves from people, trying to bribe them or do certain things, and once that door gets opened and the devil gets in, then sometimes it becomes the corruption gets worse and worse. And with their well, saying that people have been in office for 30 years, how many times did
Some
they take
40,
yes, some
40.
40 years. So
Yeah,
as you kind of see with the Senate and the higher,
sure.
different positions, you could see the corruption sometimes in them, as they're without them even doing anything in some ways, which meaning I'm not saying that you should judge people, but some people that are even in office and Senate and stuff, you can kind of see sometimes the evil in some of them. But anyways, yeah, so it's really interesting, man, what's happening there in that area. But I know it's happening everywhere as well too, like you said. But so these people basically just walked free. And how long ago did that happen to you when they broke into your house?
September, approximately a year ago.
Wow, a year ago. So there's no issues with those people. They're just out about, and you haven't had any issues with them trying to come back and do anything to you.
No, come on back. We're here.
Yeah,
Bring them on
yeah,
back. We're ready
yeah,
for you.
yeah. And and you said that one of them was your business partner.
No, they had one had actually we have some real estate. One had rented up some property from us.
Okay, so they came and just did that to you.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
wow. So
And we had an altercation with him the week before, and they had kept. I mean, this guy is really a snowflake. His daddy, guys, yeah, in his 20s, and his daddy kept calling us and threatening us, and we have the text messages, we have everything, and after the incident, they went dark.
yeah, yeah, I bet they're trying to stay
So
out of it. So
yeah, yeah. So something happened. We had two people within the district attorney's office say this is very, very strange. And then someone got a hold of them and they went dark.
yeah, dang,
Um,
that's
yeah, so
crazy.
so yeah, it is crazy, and that's just one incident. I mean, there's a whole number of incidents that are odd, and the pattern is they definitely target people that they perceive as weak. There is another situation with someone that had two children that have CP cerebral palsy. There was a dust up, and I don't want to go into specifics because I want to keep this person. This person has decided uh, to remain anonymous at this point because they're afraid of the backlash to him and his children. And the police got called to the school. He was complaining. They roughed him up and then went into his phone and deleted the pictures in his phone.
Wow, wow,
And then charged him with assault. And this is someone I've known for almost 40 years, and actually more than that now. And this is very uncharacteristic of what I know. And the people involved were the same people involved in our situation, and it's just very odd.
yeah,
And if you're vulnerable, if let's say you have someone in the community where your kids are in the school, you could have them put pressure on those teachers and administrators with those kids. I've seen and heard everything. I've heard things that you couldn't believe in regard to theories on how local governments get back at people, and it's real.
yeah,
And nine times out of 10, they push the people out of the community.
Yeah.
They have a business in the community, and the code of the zoning inspector uh, starts giving them fines and shutting them down, and the health inspector or OSHA. Or I had one guy that came to me and said, I've had dogs my entire life in this township, and when I got roughed up, they sent OSHA out and they sent the dog catcher and realized that my dog license were out of date, and they
Mm,
fined me. And I've never heard that.
yeah.
I for life, I didn't even know there were county dog licenses.
Yeah.
And it's a systematic, and now we're exposing it, and it's good. And we're slowly, surely, like I said, draining this little swamp. And it's nice. It's a good feeling. And
Yeah. And I especially I hope they get to the bottom of what Dante Perez's you know situation, you know?
I don't have much faith in any of this, including ours. I
Yeah.
just I don't feel. I think I just don't. I think they have, at this point, they have a vested interest in keeping it quiet. And a lot of times people expose them, and they do two things. They either use the hammer or use the feather. And the feather is coming to them with non-disclosure agreements and giving them money and literally shutting them off from everything but law enforcement. So generally, and even when law enforcement comes, let's say a hire like the Attorney General or the DOJ or the FBI, they're even hesitant to talk to them. I mean, these are people that have children in the community, they have businesses in the community, they have roots in the community, and they're quite frankly a lot of times scared and intimidated. It's no different than Whitey Bulger in Boston going from business to business and collecting his protection money. It's no different than any of these organizations. The problem is these poor organizations that are threatening these business owners and these citizens are being paid by them. That's the big difference.
And it looks like in this one of these articles it says that they conducted autopsy, but they're just not releasing. Is that what it is?
Yeah, and I want to be perfectly clear. Um, yeah, that could be because the family doesn't want it released. My gut is they just don't want it released. My gut is they muscled the family. They either paid them and they have a non-disclosure agreement. That's probably my gut, because it really, there was protests and there were people. I also want to be very careful. I say that there was a GoFundMe, uh,
Oh,
and that was supposed to go toward another autopsy and a uh,
the
an
funeral. Right.
investigation. Uh,
Okay, yeah.
and
Anything
I don't
got,
know. There was never any disclosure where that money went.
and I guess that was on Juneteenth weekend as well that happened.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I could go down the list. You can't, and I want to be very clear. Maybe the GoFundMe was set up so that they could use the money for anything. I mean, for all I know, that was used for toys for his kids,
Yeah.
and that's fine. I
Yeah.
just think you raise $30,000 and you specifically mention to get another autopsy and to get a lawyer involved to fight it, and then you go dark. And again, people grieve in different ways. I've lost people very close to me. If I gave to any organization or GoFundMe, I'd really like to know where that money went. And I think to this day that hasn't been disclosed either. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything is amiss. I'm not saying they misuse the money. I'm not saying they could use the money for whatever they want.
Yeah.
I think that's odd. I just think that's odd. And this is it's strange because we've been approached by a couple documentary filmmakers that said, I mean, this is like really all these stories are crazy, and yet they're not crazy. They're very common. But where you have in here, you have a supposed suicide, murder, whatever you want to call it, makes it a little bit interesting. He's a veteran. Like, we're the veterans groups.
Yeah.
Like where,
No.
like, they're nowhere to be found. Where's the ACLU? Where's the NAACP? Nowhere to be found. No, like, if I'm not a veteran, my father was, but a lot of my family members. I don't know. I'm willing to bet that if my father was still alive and this was happening in his town, he'd be very, very vocal, and no one cares. You
He
know,
doesn't even he doesn't even live in the township either. He doesn't have
yeah, he
any
lived
connection to it.
lived about an hour away.
Yeah.
Yeah, there didn't seem to be any connections, and again, it quite possibly could have been a suicide. I mean, who
Yeah.
knows? But at a certain period of time, uh, there definitely was a concerted effort to maybe not cover up, but certainly not volunteer any information. And for all we know, that's what the family wanted. In the beginning, they certainly didn't, because they started all these protests. But again, maybe they want their peace too, and that's okay too. I
It's
mean,
hard when you have kids. If somebody tries to, if let's say if they did get, if they did tell him something, it's hard. They're probably trying to protect their kids. If they did get,
yeah, or honestly, protect themselves.
yeah, or
I,
themselves. Yeah.
I mean, like, it's okay. It's okay. I just think if I had a GoFundMe for a significant amount of money, uh, I think I'd be a little bit more straightforward of where that money went,
Yeah.
or if it didn't go anywhere, if it's just sitting there, and that's okay. I just think, that makes the story that much more interesting. That's the, like, what happened to that money? And again, maybe the guidelines for the GoFundMe was we can do whatever we want. I
Yeah.
mean, champagne and cocaine. Let's go nuts. This is how we grieve, and that's okay too. I mean, I'm not.
Yeah.
I I just think that's odd. I think it's odd that they were very vocal and now they're very quiet. And
So there was protests going on and everything for this.
yes, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I so there could have been some foul play where maybe somebody that was well, maybe like a racist person maybe did that to him and they didn't want to cause even more uproar. It could have been someone like you said, like I was thinking maybe someone that was I don't know if the police would do something like that. I have no idea how it is
Oh,
there,
anyone
but
would do it. Are you
yeah.
kidding me? You don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yeah,
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 I'm just saying I don't know
yeah,
what was
yeah. Well,
what
then
the
you're living in a world of rainbows and
No,
unicorns.
no, no, no. I'm not
Because,
saying that. I'm
yeah,
just saying
yeah.
I don't know what the I don't know what's going on with that, but it seems very odd that it happened on that weekend, Juneteenth, and yeah,
Yeah,
there's a lot to it. You're right.
there's only one main entrance to that park. There's only one way in and one way out. That's heavily cameraed. Right now, like, there's no walk. There's no suicide note. I could go on and on. I don't want to belabor it because there's actually other cases that I'd like to delve into. I
Oh
think
yeah,
this is,
let's get into those other cases then.
yeah.
This one is kind of there's no update on it, right? It's kind of in limbo anyway. Still, they're not doing anything new on it, right?
Yeah, as far as I know, and the standard operating procedure is, well, it's a investigation ongoing, so we can't release anything, which
Yeah,
basically means we want you to forget it because we've done this for 40 years, and soon enough, people will forget it and will go on to do other corrupt stuff that no one will hear about. That will, it's a
yeah,
playbook. You speak up, they come after you by all means through the rest of their you know, uh, powers, and then you either fight back or you leave,
yeah,
or you just, you know, uh, you know,
yeah.
get
There's
on your
nothing
back
news
like
on
a
this.
dog. Yeah, there was a Uptown Standard article, which is
Oh, I
that
see
that
that.
yeah that's been, but pretty much no
That's
one
it. Oh,
cares.
yeah,
Actually, the only one that cares is me,
yeah. You're the
and
only
that's
one kind of
okay.
fighting for it, huh? Still no
and
justice. Ah.
and that's okay. That's okay. No one else has to care. I would hope that if something like this, that 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 people would remember that I was forgotten.
Yeah, and that during that time too, 2022, when did the George Floyd thing happen? Was that kind of close to that area? That was kind of
Yeah,
close to it,
I
right?
don't know specifically when that happened. Um,
That was 2020. So this is about 2 years
yeah,
after that, but there was a lot of
yeah,
protests going on during that time. There was
yeah,
COVID and all
yeah.
that.
Well, they
Wow.
all go in, they go, a lot of these, they go in cycles,
Yep.
whether that's a positive or negative. Uh, the we seem to be in this Trump federal government cycle where every journalist on the planet writes another Trump story that's been rewritten by 30 other reporters because
Yeah.
it's easy and then they could just copy it and and these news organizations are set up like that.
Yeah.
They don't want their reporters to go outside of the box. Most of these reporters are underpaid, overworked, um,
Reading off a
and
teleprompter instead of actually going to do a lot of
yeah, or just it's just or they have directives that they have a quota of so many stories and doesn't make a difference.
yeah.
And listen, in news media, it is not a growing business. It is a uh, dying business is the wrong word, but real investigative reporting, I think, is on the decline.
I think
And
more independent people do a better job than what they're doing in the mainstream, if that makes
they
sense.
do. The problem is that most of these independent reporters, they're afraid of liability
Yeah.
and they're afraid to go out on a limb. So that leaves you with the very large organizations that can protect themselves. But when you have organizations as large as some of these media companies that are actually afraid of the federal government, and you got a problem there. But then there's others. I mean, you go back to the Nixon administration when the Washington Post, I think, ran 300 articles about Watergate before that finally broke. And that was a different time, a family-owned business, the Grahams. They put themselves out there. They were threatened. They were and
They were
you
fighting
know
for it though.
they
Like
were
they have
fighting.
something to fight for. They're fighting for it. They like it's so important for them to do it that now
Yeah,
it's different.
and it's crazy in retrospect. The other news outlets, they heard of, they obviously knew about it, was reported, but the Washington Post was the only one, that Washington Post, not this Washington Post. At that time, they were, Bill Bradley and the Graham family and the reporters involved with that. They were the only ones that, and of course now they're infamous
Yeah.
because they were brave, but then they were attacked. They were attacked by other news media. It's
Wow.
crazy. You
Yeah.
know, the person through the first person through the glass door is always the one that gets cut.
Yeah. And then a couple more things on this gentleman, Mr. Jones. He had recently, I guess, he got a commercial driver's license, preparing to take his final exam. He had summer plans with his children, excited about launching a new career in trucking. So he's just about to get his trucking license and kind of start a new career. And then I guess his mother, Latina Bedford Dean, said once, I guess Dante once told her, if anyone ever tells you I committed suicide, don't believe them, is what he said. So yeah, there's other details in that too. So
Yeah, I mean, just that statement alone tells me there were threats toward
yeah,
him. I
something
mean,
was going on. Yep.
that's just an odd statement. I mean, I couldn't imagine a person saying that unless they felt there were threats against them. I
Or
mean, that's
they might have knew something about, like for me example, if I was exposing like Hillary Clinton's emails or I was exposing something big, I would say something like that. You know what I mean? That's just an
sure.
example, as a conspiracy theorist, I would say, hey, if I would never commit suicide, and then all of a sudden they find you 2 weeks later
Yeah,
with suicide.
I mean that's odd, and I know that's hearsay, and I know you can't prove it. He said
Yeah.
that, but
Yep.
just in itself, it's just I mean, I could like, and I hate to keep putting people back to this website, but there literally are it's documented. There's like 21 strange occurrences, and people can believe what they want to believe, and that's okay. You can, but I it the history, there's too much history and there's too much that is circumstantial. And I would hope that
Mm.
eventually something happens, but quite frankly, I don't have much faith. I don't have much faith in the system. And you
Yes.
know,
Yeah. So yeah, like you were saying, his feet were touching the ground. He had visible bruises and blunt force injuries. But like you said, the coroner refused to do an autopsy.
right,
So then they got public pressure, and then they did the autopsy. Then they ended up doing the autopsy, but the autopsy wasn't released.
right.
Yeah. So wow. All right. So we'll switch gears from this one to some other stuff that you wanted to bring up. There's a couple more
Yeah.
cases that you wanted to bring up.
Yeah. So again, this is anonymously. I guess someone, you know, these people on the internet, they're very good at digging stuff out. And about 90% of the tips, I guess you could say, that are passed to us, we don't ever publish or talk about because it's hard for us to triangulate the data. It's just hard to confirm some things. But the someone reached out and said, "Why aren't you talking about Jamil Van?" And I have no, I had no idea who Jamil Van is. Quite frankly, I wasn't involved with local government before this, and thank God I'm still not. Um, and I had no idea. And then someone had has gone through and read back all the transcripts of all the township meetings.
Okay.
Now, I don't know about you, but I could think of something that would be I'd least like to do.
Yeah.
Someone actually went through this and found a mention of a legal settlement with a police employee number. They didn't name them, right? But it
Okay.
was a police employee. And one thing led to another, and it was determined it was Jamil Van that just happened to be at the time the only black police officer on the police force.
Okay. Gonna see him brought up.
And
Okay.
and uh it's a very strange story. You don't mention the police officer. You call them a police employee. You mention them on the record, probably to just put them on the record. You obviously signed a non-disclosure agreement with them. You obviously paid them a legal settlement, and yet it's hush hush, and that's very odd. I mean, that's
Yeah.
an odd. Again. We go back to circumstantial. Why don't you just name the police officer who you settled with? Why don't you name the amount? Why don't you let that person talk? Why don't you explain the situation? I mean, if you're spending my taxpayer money, I want to know this stuff.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, they tried to cover it up, and it was exposed.
Yeah. He was referred to as employee number 1046 instead
Yeah,
of his name, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. Interesting. Wow. So that's
and
a
and it's strange, and you could see it's just very odd. It's a very, and again, his likeness, his pictures, any record that he was ever with Whitpain Police Department was scrubbed.
photos and okay. Yeah, I was trying to
Yeah,
look for some
yeah. It's just like the guy never existed.
yep, I can't really find news articles about it.
No, no, they did. And perhaps it's not newsy. I mean, people leave government all the time with non-disclosure agreements and being paid off and being paid to be silent. But this is a very strange situation. The guy, one day he's an upstanding veteran police officer. The next day he's scrubbed. The next day, and then just say it, Jamil Van. You know,
Yeah.
and this is what this is what government does in general, but certainly local governments. And they got away with it until someone that had nothing better to do and started reading these notes from the township meetings.
And what did they find about him?
I don't want to go into particulars
Okay.
because I don't personally know a lot about these. I know enough to be dangerous, not enough to be knowledgeable. But from what
Yeah.
I understand, that he is uh, he's no longer a police officer, and that's all I know.
Okay.
I don't. There's apparently no record of what happened to him, uh, and that's very strange. You're a veteran police officer, and then you just disappear.
Yeah.
And my gut is that he signed a non-disclosure agreement, and he is afraid
Okay.
of speaking up.
That's what it says. A
Although,
sudden discrete settlement paid with taxpayer dollars approved quietly on July 16, 2024.
yeah,
So that's what you're saying. So basically, no official lawsuit was filed, but there was a discrete settlement paid.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Why isn't that public?
Yep. Yep.
You
Demand this
know,
doesn't make sure the
you know,
complete. Yeah, that's
it's easy to spend the money when it's not your money.
yep.
It's easy to do dirty tricks when you're not spending your money. And
So
one
you think
thing,
it was corruption within the police department of him being maybe his color, maybe? And maybe he was suing for that, you think?
I don't know, and
Yeah.
I want to be very careful. I think circumstantially,
Hmm.
I mean, it fits a pattern.
Yeah.
It fits a pattern. They seem to target the weak and the perceived weak.
It says we stand with the crooked. Okay, this is an article right here. Is it crookedwhitepain.com? Are you familiar
Yeah,
with that?
Whitpain. Yeah,
Is that you guys' site?
yeah. That's one of the volunteers
Okay.
runs that. Yeah,
All right. Three of the families are crooked white
yeah,
pain. Okay, cool. That's what one of them that popped up. Okay, cool.
yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right. So that's one of the incidents, which is interesting because now we have is there another one you wanted to go over?
Yeah. So I would say a while ago there was a building, and this goes back. There was a recent. Uh, there were two recent statements to the news media. One by a zoning attorney that had all the approvals, and miraculously, Whitpain would not approve her client's uh, building, and she literally went on the record and said, "What you are doing is illegal." And then there was a former supervisor that stated, and I don't have the exact quote in front of me. This is truly one of the most corrupt organizations I've ever been involved with, and that's all documented. There seems to be a pattern, but this other situation is there was someone, again, it's a business owner in the township that's paying taxes, who owned a parcel that was zoned, that was approved for uh, uh, he wanted to put a roller skating rink there. And apparently, as the federal lawsuit reads, and I don't have the federal lawsuit in front of me, that he was told the township will never let this happen because it will bring black people into the township. And that went to federal court, and I believe he was victorious. So that's another case. Now you got to understand, this is there's another civil rights lawsuit against this Chief Ken Lawson and a
Okay.
couple patrolmen, Nero versus Whitpain Township. You have to understand, all this is in a community of 20,000 people.
Yeah.
It's an anomaly. It's statistically, these amount of incidents are almost impossible in a township that's less than 20,000 people.
Yeah.
And all that says is, and you have to point that out at the leadership. and that includes all the supervisors in the chair. That includes the township supervisors. That includes the chief of police. That includes the township managers. Uh, and we're going to do our part to make sure that they're on their way. We're slowly but surely uh, working our way through them, and don't be a public official if you don't want your bad stuff out there.
Of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I see you got a list of all these guys on your website here. So,
Mhm.
and then you got the ring. So if you guys want to go to Crooked Whitpain, that's WHITPAIN.com, then you can kind of see a little, you know, little more of them, kind of a list of these things that he's going over. And then also all the people that he's kind of exposing, and then a ring camera of these people breaking into his home. Uh, yeah, wow, very interesting stuff. Top posts and pages. I like that. All right.
Yeah, yeah. By the way, there was blood. There was blood all over the place from the two people that broke in. I mean, and none of this has been exposed. And again, they say they've never released a police report. We had trouble getting insurance money because the insurance company said we need a police report, and they refused to.
There was these guys' blood there because what they
All
just
over the
break a window.
place,
Oh, see,
all over the place.
why
Looked
don't
like
they just
Helter
do it?
Skelter.
Why don't they just do a DNA test and find them real quick?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah. Why don't they
man.
just do their job? How's
Yeah,
that?
exactly.
Why don't they just why don't they you know
Wow.
cut down the Dunkin' Donuts runs?
Yeah, for
Do your
sure.
job.
Wow. Interesting. All right. Is there anything else you wanted to go over before we got off?
No, that's it. I appreciate your time, and
I appreciate you too. Yeah, thank you.
if anyone, again, this is, if anything, it's a resource for people that have trouble with their local government, and our methods are somewhat unorthodox, but I can tell you that I feel like we're getting somewhere with very little, with it's interesting. I think you have these officials that think they're going to go unscathed, and this is permanent. These things are permanent and probably going to scar most of these people for a relatively long time, and that's what they get.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Well, you're putting their feet to the fire, so that's always good. So before we get, I always ask any guests, before we get off, is there anything that you would like to tell our audience that's very important before we get off?
No, I don't think it's that important. I just think that if you want to be very careful, if you have roots in a community and you decide to fight back, you better have your ducks in a row.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We're relatively affluent. Uh, we've garnered some attention, and we certainly garnered some volunteers that but if you're going to take on a fight, like most of these people, uh, they've withered away. They've either moved out of the township, or just succumbed to the fight. But it's you have to be very system. You have to have a system. You have
Yeah.
to have an idea. And if you're going to go, you got to go full bore. You can't. There's no. You either you either have to go full bore and have systems in place, or sometimes, quite frankly, in some ways, you have to find alternative methods of solving your problems.
Yeah, without the internet, it's kind of awesome how the internet kind of is working in our favor as well. It works in the government's favor in ways, but it works in our favor as well.
It's amazing, and I'm not our Reddit is incredible. Like, we have people that post things on there, and uh, not everything I necessarily agree with, but
Of course.
certainly the social media, our TikToks, our Reddit, our Facebook. The audience are relatively small, but it's very concentrated, and it seems to be other people that had similar situations like this, and we're touching a lot of people. So we're touching veterans, and we're touching, minorities, and we're touching people that at any particular time felt like they were singled
Mis-
out
or mistreated. Yeah.
or mistreated or targeted in
Yeah.
this case. And
Cool.
there's something to be said that probably wouldn't have happened without the internet.
Well, keep the fight going, Scott. I
All right,
appreciate you
Josh.
coming on. Can you please shout out your the TikTok, the Instagram, and everything you want to shout out in the Facebook?
Yeah, everything's at www.crookedwhitpain.com. That's
Okay.
CROOKED Whitpain, WHITPAIN.com. And all our social media links are on that page. And you can go to that and comment, positive, negative. And if it's a resource for at least one person, then we're
Yes.
doing our stuff.
Amen to that. Well, perfect. All the links are going to be at the very bottom of that website, guys. They got Facebook, they got Reddit, they got Instagram. Looks like they got a Twitter account. Everything's right there. So, yeah. Well, I appreciate you, having you on. And if there's anything else that you find later on that you found that's like an update or something, if you want to hop on for a little bit, let me know. And you have my email. Okay.
All right, Josh. Thanks for your time.
God bless you. Thank you. Thank you for your time, bro. Thank you. All right. So yeah, that was a cool show. I just had to do, he had a little bit of off the record stuff to kind of tell me before he left, that he wanted to kind of go over, and didn't want to put it on here, obviously. So just wanted to go over that with him, but very interesting stuff. Please check out his, the website. It's crookedwhitpain.com. Okay. CROOKEDWHITPAIN .com, and there's a lot of stuff on there. You'll see the ring camera of these gentlemen coming into his house and actually breaking in, and there's a whole bunch of different information that I think you guys should look into. The Crooked Whitpain Township, as you look through, you'll see all the faces of these wonderful people, and who knows what they're doing in the background. So I thought that was a fun show, and I really appreciate you guys. Just wanted to give a quick shout out to everybody on Patreon that is signed up. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You guys are assisting the show, kind of moving forward. Jason will be back on soon. I kind of talked to him yesterday, and he's feeling like his schedule is opening up a little bit more. I wanted to give you guys an update on that. I appreciate everybody. Everybody that's listening on Spotify, Apple, you guys are actually carrying the show, to be honest. Everybody that's listening on audio is carrying the show. My YouTube audience, for some reason, with my Bible studies, is not as not carrying the show. I'll just put it that way. But my YouTube audience, I still appreciate you, and I love you guys. I appreciate you. I know that when I have a big guest like Gary Wayne or anybody that's kind of big, I notice that there's a big influx of people that watch the show. But as far as on YouTube, it really hasn't been popping off as much, but I don't really mind. I'm still getting a lot of subscribers there, but just not getting the views. But I don't do it for that, but I still have to watch it, and I still have to do the analysis on all that stuff. But just anybody out that's listening on YouTube, if you guys could definitely share the show and help me. Everybody that's listening on Spotify, Apple, you guys have been there the whole time, and you guys are still there. So I really appreciate you. Anybody that's commenting on Spotify and Apple, let me see. If you guys ended up listening to the end of the show, I hope you guys did. I really appreciate you guys. For example, I have a couple people I'd like to kind of. So Elio Heem, thank you so much for commenting on the final experiment one with Jaron. TD Can-Am, I appreciate you. Thank you. Shelby, thank you very much. I appreciate your comment. Rod, I appreciate you. V Wills, I see you actually commenting a lot. I really appreciate you. Isaiah Guerrero, I know you, brother. You've been on the show, and we're gonna actually do a show soon. I have to try to hit you back. Either 2105, thank you. Dan Barclay, I really appreciate your comments. And then let me go back here real quick. And I know I have some other people I could kind of shout out. Either 2105 again, thank you. I really appreciate you for commenting. There's another one I can't even read off. There's too many. It's like VXEZVRIGE up. It's just like maybe it's anonymous, but appreciate you. DZ Rivers, I really appreciate you. And then Just Me, I really appreciate you commenting. I appreciate that, and I see that you comment, quite often. And there's so many people that I would like to give shout out to. Seth, I appreciate you. Just me once again on the Sunday service. Looks like you guys listen to the Bible studies quite often. And then I Garza 8402, you comment on this show and you comment on Sunday service. Thank you so much. And Wednesday service on Cult Conspiracy. Vinny Lav, you comment a lot. And Either 2105, I see you commenting a lot. It looks like you're catching up on some of the shows. And yeah, I just want to give shout outs to everybody. Trish, moderator, my mom, thank you for moderating on YouTube. Appreciate it. I'm hoping that the YouTube audience kind of comes back, or I need to try to do something to get the YouTube audience to come back. But I feel like I've prepared you guys for the Bible studies. I've did so many shows on conspiracies that I feel like I've done a lot of that, but the Bible studies is the meat and potatoes, and that's the more important thing. And I noticed on Spotify and Apple, which is my audio platform, a lot of people are tuning into the Bible studies. And I noticed on YouTube, not as much. So it's probably the algorithm on YouTube that's happening, because on Cult of Conspiracy, there's like 3 to 5,000. On my, Spotify, there's maybe 5 to 800 listening. But when it comes to YouTube, it's like 65 or 70. So you just kind of see who's running YouTube, and what they don't want to get out, obviously, is the word of God, right? So it's all good, but much love to all of you. But let me just go ahead and end this in prayer like I always do. So, Father God, in the name of Jesus, I want to pray for Scott and his safety, his family, and I want to pray that you protect them. And he's trying to expose the evil of Whitpain Township, and it seems like there are some weird, people would call coincidence, Lord, but there's obviously some corruption going on, I think, in that city. I don't know these people. I can't judge them. I have no idea what's going on with them. But I just want to say, if there's evil going on, like Scott thinks, please expose it and assist Scott and his organization to expose these people that are doing evil, that don't belong in the government there, and help him and protect his family against anybody trying to do harm to them or anything of the sort, Lord. I just want to say thank you for this time, and anybody that's listening that needs anything in their life, Lord, please be there for them supernaturally, and assist them in any spiritual battles they're going through. Also myself, sometimes I'm very tired when I'm doing this show, at night on Monday nights, and I'm doing Wednesday service. I'm super tired, Lord. I just need the energy to be uplifting and assist in teaching the Bible, Lord. So please help me with that. Thank you for everything you do. We love you in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, guys. Thank you so much. And like I said, YouTube, please share the show to as many people as you can. This is this is more of the conspiracy side of this show, but we'll get into more different things going on. Like I said, we have Jason coming back soon, so expect that, and it's going to be awesome. So thank you guys so much for listening. Love you, and God bless you.